June 30th, 1997. A torrential downpour hits Hong Kong. To some, it felt like the weather was mirroring the massive, unpredictable shift about to take place. For 156 years, this global financial powerhouse was a British colony. But in just a few hours, the Union Jack would come down, the Chinese five-star flag would go up, and Hong Kong would enter completely uncharted territory. How did a tiny fishing village become the center of a geopolitical tug of war? And what actually happened when the clock struck midnight? Let's break it down. To understand why this happened, we have to look at three separate 19th century treaties signed under the Qing dynasty. Britain actually acquired Hong Kong Island in 1842 and the Kowloon Peninsula in 1860 in perpetuity, meaning forever. But in 1898, Britain signed a third treaty for the new territories, which made up over 85% of Hong Kong's total landmass. This time, it wasn't forever. It was a 99-year lease. Now, a question people always ask when they hear this is, why exactly 99 years? Well, back in 19th century diplomacy, 99 years was essentially shorthand for as good as forever. Nobody in 1898 truly envisioned how much the geopolitical landscape would change by 1997. But, as that deadline approached in the 1980s, Britain faced a massive logistical nightmare. People often wonder, why didn't Britain just keep Hong Kong Island and Kowloon since they owned them forever? The reality was that by the 1980s, Hong Kong's electricity, water, airports, and modern infrastructure were completely intertwined across both the leased and owned lands. It was impossible to separate them. China made it clear. They wanted the whole thing back, or they wouldn't cooperate at all. Realizing that they couldn't realistically hold onto a fractured city, Britain signed the Sino-British Joint Declaration in 1984, agreeing to hand over the entire territory. In exchange, China promised a unique framework called One Country, Two Systems. Hong Kong would become a special administrative region and keep its capitalist economy, legal system, and civil liberties for at least 50 years, until 2047. But this raises a critical question about the people living there. Why didn't the citizens of Hong Kong get to vote on this in a referendum, like other colonies did? The answer lies deep within international law and a massive diplomatic maneuver that happened decades before the handover. In 1945, the United Nations Charter established that colonies had an inherent right to self-determination, meaning that they could choose independence via public vote. For decades, Hong Kong was officially classified by the UN as a non-self-governing territory, the formal word for a colony. However, everything changed in 1972. Freshly admitted to the UN, the People's Republic of China insisted that Hong Kong and Macau were not colonies at all, but rather Chinese territories occupied by foreign powers under unequal treaties forced upon them in the 19th century. Beijing successfully pressured the UN Decolonization Committee to remove Hong Kong from the official list of colonies. The UN's General Assembly passed Resolution 2908. And just like that, Hong Kong lost its international legal pathway to self-determination. By the time the 1980s negotiations began, Britain and China legally viewed the situation not as a colony breaking free, but as a bilateral return of occupied land. The people of Hong Kong were never given a referendum or a direct vote because, on the international stage, their right to vote on independence had been stripped 25 years earlier. Because of this lack of self-determination, anxiety skyrocketed. Throughout the late 80s and 90s, hundreds of thousands of middle-class Hong Kongers packed up their lives and immigrated to places like Canada, the UK, and Australia, terrified of what communist rule might mean for their families. Then came June 30th, 11:59 p.m. The official handover ceremony. Prince Charles delivers a farewell speech on behalf of the Queen. Then, a historic silence fills the hall as the British national anthem plays one last time while the Union Jack is lowered. Precisely at midnight on July 1st, the Chinese national anthem plays as the flag of the People's Republic of China is raised alongside the new Hong Kong Valhalla flag. Shortly after, the British royal yacht, Her Majesty's Britannia, slips away into the rainy dock, carrying Prince Charles and the last British governor, Chris Patten, away from the harbor. With the British gone, it leaves one last major question. What happened to all the British nationals living there? Millions of Hong Kong residents were granted British National Overseas Status, or BNO for short. While it didn't initially give them the right to live in the UK, it provided British consular protection and a passport that would later become a lifeline for some. The 1997 handover wasn't just a change of flags. It was a complex political and diplomatic alignment that continues to shape global politics to this day. We put this video together as a Pre-HKSAR Establishment Day special, looking back at the dense history and legal intricacies that brought the city to this monumental turning point. Did you know about the 1972 UN vote that stripped Hong Kong of its referendum pathway before negotiations even began? Or do you think there was a more realistic way for Britain to hold on to Hong Kong Island without the new territories? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives. See you next time.